Okay, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the GlossGenius Community Roundtable of February 2023. This is actually our first roundtable of the year and our first public event that we invite all GlossGenius members and people within the GlossGenius industry and community already, as well as folks across the beauty and wellness industry that are just getting started and want to interact and meet other like-minded professionals. We here at GlossGenius are so excited to welcome you here tonight. Before we begin, I just wanted to share a couple words. In this industry, it's so important to build community that fosters inclusivity so that you can be prepared for whoever walks in your door or who sits in your chair or on your table. Building an inclusive culture in your salon can feel a little scary at first, but tonight I strongly believe that the panel that we've put together tonight for you all will help you walk away with the skills and the tools and the resources that you will need to not only continue to deliver your expertise, but to build an inclusive culture in your salon. We at GlossGenius believe that the importance of sharing the mic is key. And this month, in honor and celebration of Black History Month, we wanted to share the mic with members of our community who identify as BIPOC or those who work with a diverse clientele who can offer their voice too. The reality is we want to create a safe but brave space so that it's more inclusive and better for our industry as a whole. It is my pleasure to welcome our moderator for this evening, Shay Bailey, who is not only a GlossGenius longtime member and affiliate partner, but also a friend of mine. Those are some of my favorite parts of who Shay is. But other than that, I wanted to share a little bit about her. She is an award-winning beauty and consumer tech professional. Shay has been acknowledged for her work in the industry by several publications and online platforms. In addition to personal acknowledgement, her beauty work has been featured in Ebony, Essence, Black Enterprise, Jet Magazine, MTV, and more. Her clientele has included local and internationally known celebrities, changemakers, and politicians. In addition to running her brands, Shay sits on the board of advisors in Detroit for the Detroit Beauty Collective and Sanitation Conversation. We are so lucky to have Shay moderate the conversation tonight, and equally lucky to have the panelists as well, some of whom we're meeting for the first time and others who have been longtime members of GlossGenius. So welcome, Shay. The floor is yours.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Danny. That opening was just absolutely amazing. Just hearing what brought us all together tonight. So thank you. Before I turn it over and allow you all to hear from our amazing panel, Danny, I do want to take a moment to thank you and the GlossGenius family. There is one reason why GlossGenius holds a special place in my heart in regards to resources for beauty pros, and it is the community. So the fact that you're at the helm of that just makes it extra special, and I enjoy working with you and the team. So thank you for continuing to provide this space for us. Thank you. All righty, so let's jump into our amazing panel. And what I'm going to do, I'll announce our panel, and I want to give you all a few seconds just to speak about what you do in the industry, tell us how long you've been in the industry, and give the listeners a little background into what you do, like your special corner of the industry. So first and foremost, I do want to start with Kyler, Kyler is someone that I've had the pleasure of getting to know over the past few days. The work speaks for itself. So Kyler, if you can unmute and share a little bit about yourself and the work you're doing in the industry.
Yes, ma'am. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Kyler Ingram. I live here in Houston, Texas. I'm from Florida, but I've been here about 8 years now. So after a while, I'll basically start saying I'm from here. Anyway, I consider myself a real like a creative. So I also like to stay inspired. So I do hair, makeup, barbering, and special effects makeup. Just to keep things different for myself. It just keeps me going. It's always a surprise on what I'm going to be doing in a day. Different services. It keeps me excited.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. And next up, can I hear from Yali?
We might have lost her. Just give us a second. Why don't we go to the next panelist and I'll try to find her.
No problem. Melissa?
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for being here. My name is Melissa. I'm based in Orange County, California at the Main Suite OC, but I'm originally from Los Angeles. I've been doing hair for about almost 10 years now, so that's big for me. I just hit my 10th year. And I specialize in color services, color corrections, hair cutting, styling. So it's kind of the same. I like to just play around and see what I can learn and introduce it into the salon. And I've also been with GlossGenius for about 2 years. So that's very exciting as well.
Awesome. Awesome. All righty. Larry?
Can you guys hear me?
We can, and thank you for being with us. We know you are traveling, you're constantly on the move with your brand, so thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you guys for having me. So I am Larry Law, owner of Man Brow. I've been in the industry for about 12 years now. I started off doing makeup, and then now I specialize in brows. I am based out of Miami and Detroit, and I have 2 studio locations. I love GlossGenius. I love Danny. I love Shay. I'm actually one of Shay's clients and friends as well. And I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. All righty. And next up, we will have Miss Kadada Wilson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kadada Wilson. I am a second generation beauty professional. I have been in the beauty industry now, oh my goodness, I'll just say 20 plus years. And I'll just give a safe number right there. Okay. And my background consists of my beauty work started in the makeup industry, where I pretty much just kind of honed my skills as a makeup artist, and from the freelance makeup world kind of transitioned into the beauty retail side of things, in an effort to kind of not just be, just a makeup artist, but also somebody who can understand, translate the business from a business perspective. So I've had the pleasure of, being in the beauty and salon space for a great time now. And it is probably the only thing that I've never gotten tired of in my entire life. So, so very excited to share my, my background, my insight with everyone, and to also learn from everyone as well too.
Awesome, awesome. And before we get into Yali, I think she's back. I do want to share that Kadada comes to us to support us tonight here for this event. She definitely is not the person to toot her own horn, so I will. She comes with a very vast background as it relates to artist training and development. She's worked with several powerhouse brands and beauty retailers, ensuring that artists across the globe understand how to deliver a 5-star customer experience from several angles, including inclusivity. So super excited to have Kadada here tonight. Thank you. Thank you. All righty, Yali, are you back with us?
Yes, I am so sorry.
No worries. We're used to this tech world. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Yaelia Millán, but everybody calls me Yali. I respond to both. I am born and raised Puerto Rican, and I currently live in Vancouver, Washington. I am a licensed nail technician and pedicurist, and also an educator. I do have my salon, my clinic in Vancouver as well, and my specialty is clinical pedicures for problematic feet. So I see a lot of issues and everybody of a lot of ages. I am currently in my home in Puerto Rico teaching how to do the clinical pedicures. And that's my focus, bring the education because our industry is not very inclusive. So we're working into changing that. So we're bringing more advanced classes and also in Spanish as well. So I'm currently teaching a second group today for clinical pedicures in Spanish. So that's what I do. And I love what I do. I've been in the industry since 2018. Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
I'm in my
Thank you.
scrubs right now because I was just teaching, but yes.
We can all relate. Yes, thank you for being here. So, one of the reasons why I wanted to have the panel introduce themselves is because as viewers and listeners, I want you to be able to feel the level of passion each of these individuals have for the work that they're doing. I can't tell you how amazing it's been to work with Danny to curate this group and just be able to learn about what they're doing in their respective, salons or workspace, and just how they are impacting the community around them. So hopefully you felt that in their introductions. If you did not, you will definitely hear it as we get into this conversation. So for sake of time, let's dive in. Now, the purpose of this event and why we're coming together, we keep hearing this word inclusivity, right? So one thing that I have always been passionate about in my beauty career is ensuring that everyone from every walk of life, background, whatever floats your boat, is something that I also incorporate into you being in my space, right? You being in my space as a client, as a even just another professional. It's very important that you feel welcome and you feel seen and heard. So as we started to decide who would sit on this panel, one thing that really stood out is the apparent intention to ensure that you all are creating an inclusive environment. So first off, I want to thank you all for ensuring that value runs through your business. And I just want to dive in to see, how do you do it? Because it's not easy, right? When you say, oh, I want to be inclusive, everyone is welcome. I can't tell you how much I hear when I'm working with beauty pros and I really work with them on their demographic and they say, oh, I service everyone, right? Let's get into what that means. All right. So let's dive in. When you all decided, when you set out to build your brand in beauty, did you say early on, I want to service everyone, or was serving everyone a response to the clientele around you? Whoever comes off mute, I'm just watching to see. Larry, did you want to answer that question first?
Yes, so it's not an echo or anything in the background, right?
It's a little bit, but we get that you're traveling. We're living through you.
Okay. So I noticed that working for like retailers before I started my brand, that they always say, welcome to all. We're here for all is welcome, different things like that. But I truly didn't believe that. I felt like they had their eye on the certain prizes. So when I started my brand prior to, I told myself, like, literally, I wanted everyone, like all shapes, colors, sizes. When I first started learning how to do makeup, I wanted to learn how to do the lightest to the darkest to the medium shade. Mm-hmm. So I wanted like everyone. So my goal at hand was to definitely service everyone, give them the same experience that anyone else would get.
Thank you for sharing that. So let's dive into that, like that diverse clientele piece. Specifically, Melissa and Yali, I want to ask you all. Right now, we're looking at such a boom in the beauty business, and a part of that boom is Black beauty consumers. Right now, according to Nielsen, Black beauty consumers spend about $7.4 million in the market, and over 50% of them are younger than the age of 35. So if you're like me and you're just, I'm sort of a social media, I wouldn't consider myself a native. I am more someone who's learning, but even looking at social media trends on TikTok, I see how much young people influence what we need to ensure that we do and learn about as beauty professionals. So for you, Melissa, and Yali, please feel free to chime in as well. We specifically were just really impressed at your profile and just your ability to provide services to Black beauty consumers, because that's not always the case, right? Like, I can't tell you how many times you don't, as a consumer, you feel as though you have to go to someone who looks like you, right? So let's dive into that, because we see the diversity and we see the inclusion from the entire panel, but I do want to hear from you ladies as well.
Melissa, you want to start first?
Yes, I just wasn't sure. I didn't want to jump in, but go ahead.
Go for it.
So for me, I did go to school in Los Angeles, and that was one thing that I really did love was at my beauty school. It was Maranello, and there was a lot of diversity, which I loved. And that really just pushed me to want to learn everything. It went from, well, back when I went to beauty school, they were teaching us perms, they were teaching us pressing curls. I still have all my tools. Pressing curls, braids, and to be honest, we all loved learning from each other. There were some, there was different students that were great at doing braids and different students that were great at doing updos and learning different textures and learning how to work with curly hair. So when I went into my own salon suite, that's something that I wanted to bring with me. I wanted to make sure that everybody who stepped into my salon felt welcome, that if it was a service I did offer to them, I can have a consultation and just get to know them and understand them. And if it was a service that I did not offer, I do have referrals. I always just make sure to take good care of them, even if it's not a client that I can take in. I make sure that I help them out in the sense of trying to find someone that can take them in as a client. So they typically usually love that.
And Yali, I definitely want to hear your perspective on this. And I want to have that conversation around the referral process, right? Like, what did that look like to build your network? Yali, do you do the same, or is your experience a little bit different?
I think I have a little bit of everything. So being born and raised in Puerto Rico, I thought that everybody lived like us. We Puerto Ricans are very friendly, and we are all about taking care of each other. So then when I moved to the States, I unfortunately encountered a lot of things that made me realize that we are not all the same and we're not treated all the same. So when I decided to change industries and be from the corporate to more the beauty industry, I decided that I did not want people to feel the way I felt when it comes to inclusive. So my number one policy in my salon is everybody is welcome and we don't talk about certain things because what I do, pedicures, people are very afraid of showing their feet, right? For fear of judgment. So I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to know that I'm not here to judge them and I'm here to take care of them. And I love to be of service. And that's what I want to do. I want to service you. I want to love you. I want to take care of you, no matter if you are from this planet or not. And that is my policy. And also my mom, God bless her, she taught me do good no matter who. Mm-hmm. Haz el bien sin importar a quién. It sounds better in Spanish. So that is my policy. And I have seen how this industry and overall is not very inclusive when it comes to providing education available for everybody and in their language as well. That's why I'm so passionate about that. I can talk about it all day. And also I have seen in my own clients how they have been turned away from other establishments, and they have come to me from referrals from other professionals, and how I have learned that I have to build my network to be able to refer to other people that I trust. So yeah.
That's awesome.
I actually wanted to share with you a picture, if I may, of a client that was refused everywhere because the way he looked and the way his feet were. So if I may.
You definitely, yeah.
So this is my client. I'm not gonna name him. As you can see, he is different from every pedicure that we show on Instagram, and he was refused everywhere. And he literally told me, "You're my last chance." And it took me 2.5 hours, but I did it. And I loved him, and I'm happy that I was here for him. So,
oh my gosh,
I practice every day.
Mm-hmm. So it's so, and Kyler, I would love to hear from you. So if you could just be prepared to chime in next. It's interesting the thread that I'm hearing from each of you, from Larry to Melissa, now you, Yali. Like I hope that the listeners are hearing. There's a very common thread that we'll make sure that we pull together for everyone. But for the most part, is putting putting clients at the center of what you're doing. So thank you for that. Kyler, can you share, I have to tell you, just looking at your work, the diversity in the work that you do, just the following. And when I think of following, I don't necessarily go, oh, look at this, how many followers you have. I look at the impact it looks like you have on the industry you're serving. So can you talk a little bit about just how you built your brand and the trust from your clients, because it's really remarkable to see.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I will start by saying I've had my Instagram account since Instagram literally first came out. I just switched it over from being like back in the day, nobody used it for business. It was personal. So I just switched it over from personal to business. And over the years, as I progressed in like skills and knowledge and things, I just kept posting. And, that's kind of how that grew. As far as the diversity that I have in my salon now, I'm from the country. And I come from a place where the hair that I was doing, everyone looked like me, which there was nothing wrong with it, but I knew that there was more. I used to always see things on TV and the huge salons and, the people with the assistants and stuff. And we really didn't have that back home. So I wanted to make sure that I could reach everyone, or that I could touch everything. As I said earlier, like, I feel like I definitely have like a creative mind. So I don't feel like I can excel in something unless I'm trying, different textures, different base colors, different everything, honestly, different everything. A real push for me was that in a lot of salons that I worked at previously, other than working for myself now in my studio, I was told that I didn't fit in, or I should dress a certain way. I should have my clients dress and look a certain way. And of course I dealt with it, because at the time, let's be real, it was my job. But there was like this underlying, almost like kind of, kicking the butt always. That's just like, I don't know, is this really what I want? Do I want to be stuck doing one demographic? Do I want to be stuck doing one type of thing? And I decided I didn't want to do that. A lot of the skills that I have now, I can honestly thank COVID for. That is one positive thing that came out of it. I especially like the special effects makeup and stuff. I kind of, thought about what else could I do that I could branch out to even more people, because the special effects makeup world, it can be more eclectic. I think that's a great word to use. But anyway, I want to inspire everyone. I feel inspired by everyone, every culture. I have lots of Hispanic clients. Since I've been in Texas, I've learned so much more Spanish. especially as it relates to the industry. When I worked for Mac, we would have clients that didn't speak any English at all come in. So, you kind of learn. I wanted to learn anyway because I wanted to be able to effectively communicate with people from other places. So yeah, that's a little bit of I guess where I came from and why I feel like I want the diversity. Because I think as professionals as well in our industry, if you want to say that you're an expert or an industry pro, you kind of have to have that experience or the practice and everything of having everyone. And also, it's very frustrating and it can be very humiliating to someone, say if they have curly hair, which we know, is a newer trend that's now taken off. But to go into a salon and they're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, we don't do your kind of hair. That's a terrible feeling that I would never want to give anyone. And honestly, in our industries, a lot of it is knowledge. Like 80% is knowledge, 20% is manipulation. So sometimes you take your knowledge that you have in your head and another hair type might need more moisture or something like that, and tell them, be honest and straight up and say, hey, okay, I've never really worked with hair as curly as yours, but you give me a chance and we can work together and we can figure something out. And I feel like that makes people feel better. You're honest up front. You didn't overpromise and you're not going to underdeliver. And then you can learn along with them. People with their texture, with every kind of texture hair, they're usually experts about their own hair. They live with it every day. And same skin, nails, all of it. So sometimes we can listen to them and learn as well. Just keep an open mind.
Oh my gosh, you guys are giving me like chills. And I have to say this, Kyle, you bring up a really great scenario that really Danny and I discussed at length when we were just sort of looking at what this program would look like. There's been so much recent media around some really influential superstars in Hollywood that are on set, crying and just humiliated because there is not that approach to inclusivity or approach to service. Like, how can I help? And Melissa, you really hit a really great point. Yes, you can have the skill set, but you can also have the network for referrals too, right? I don't want, for everyone that's listening in, we really want you to leave here with the confidence to say, okay, either one, I can service everyone, or two, I know how I can get that person service.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's really what we want you to leave here with. And I know even prepping with Kadada, there were a few just key points that really came out of our conversation, Kadada, that I would love for you to share, just so that we can start to talk about what that looks like once we leave this space tonight.
Absolutely. I think I'll just start with one of the things that this is really crucial when it comes to knowing your craft, right? And and at this day and age where we are in beauty and in the industry as a whole, in my eyes, it's kind of unacceptable not to know, right? You know what I'm saying? Because we have so many resources at our fingertips that are available to show us things, teach us things, and not only just, just the things like the internet alone, but, the people that we come in contact with. So one of the first things that jumped out to me that I was listening with everyone is the ability to build that network, right? So I think being able to build a network, and one of the things that I know, just even not only as a beauty professional, but just when it comes to building your brand as a whole, collaboration is king now. So you would be hard pressed not to find a professional or a brand that's not collaborating with another brand on some level to push or to scale their business, right? So why wouldn't we as beauty professionals do the same thing? So connecting with people on social media and different communities, which are offered on all platforms now for you to be able to access and build your skill level. I love when, back in the, a while back when I was like really, really heavily, doing a lot of makeup, it was all about like the barter system as well too. Like, hey, if somebody was doing something great over here, like if I'm excellent at doing a lash application, and somebody over here next to me is nailing an eyeliner or a brow, I'm like, hey, can you show me, or are you willing to, just kind of being able to, be in a space that we can willing to share, and share each, skills with each other to grow each other. The different networks, the different platforms that we do business on. So things like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of the things that, we can connect with each other. Like I love to, just kind of get lost sometimes in some of the videos that I'll spend time, looking at other industry professionals doing their thing. And that to me is a great opportunity to just, like reach out, comment on their work, because sometimes just being able to just genuinely build that connection with another professional that does something that you love or not able to do is a very generic way to scale, to begin to scale your business.
Yes, thank you. And I can't tell you enough, when Kadada speaks about network, Melissa speaks about network, I'm hearing community, I'm hearing service. Like you're hearing these words that we know are associated with great customer service. Now it's all about implementing. So Melissa, can I ask you, do you have any tips on how you build your referral system? If there's, one or two things that you always do in order to have a really solid Rolodex, what would you say those are?
So kind of bouncing off of what Kyler said, I really loved everything he said because he put it so perfectly. But it is about just having those connections with other hairstylists. So I work in Salon suites. So we all refer one another. So if there is a client, I try to do the same thing. I try to welcome them. I offer them, let's work this out. Let's see if we can figure something out for you. And of course, if I just feel that I do need to refer them to someone, I will refer them to, we call each other suite mates instead of roommates. We refer each other to suite mates, and then it kind of goes vice versa. If there's a service that they just don't feel comfortable offering or anything like that, they kind of refer clients to me as well too. So it does kind of start to build that little community, which is really nice. And then also just word of mouth is huge. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids in school. Us moms get together. PTA is awesome. We actually just started a cultural group club, which is really neat. So we all get together, kind of plan out ideas, events, things like that. So it's really nice because I can bring that into my work environment too. And then just overall our community.
That's awesome. Awesome. I'm a mom of 3 too. Yay, right?
Yes.
Crazy, but yay. So one of the things that I know in my years working with Kadada and just her training all over the U.S., inland and beyond, she has been big on knowing your demographics. So would you all say that, especially like Kyler, I know you say you moved, Yali, you moved, Larry, I know any other giving day you're in Detroit or you're down in Florida. Would you say that you all do anything in particular to know who's even around you that needs to be serviced? Like what's happening around you and how can you show up and make sure you're responsive to that?
Does anyone want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, for me, now that I live in a major city, Houston has its pockets, where certain demographics live in certain areas, and then some areas are a little bit of more of a mixed area. I'm in the Heights area here, so it's a mixture of both. It's in the inner loop, and in Texas, the inner loop, honestly, it just means more expensive, quite frankly. And a couple more, like things to do. But I would say my area is actually diverse. Before I worked for myself, I worked in a more like artsy part of the city, called Montrose, and it was very diverse too. before this, all of the salons that I worked in, they kind of had their own, like, you know, a very specific type clientele that would be the norm for coming in there.
Awesome. Yali, would you like to share?
Yes. For me, I didn't do so much of the demographic kind of research. I just knew that Vancouver, Washington is only 30 minutes from Portland, which is a very diverse city. But honestly, in my mind, I just wanted to service anybody with feet. So anybody with feet will come to me. But the inclusion was, I saw that the pedicures for problematic feet was underserved. So I just wanted to tackle those. I don't want perfection. I just want people that need help. So I attracted customers by using social media and posting the imperfections. So people started contacting me because my feet look like that. And that's what I need. If I started posting perfect feet, I will never have problematic feet in my chair. So that's the way I see it. And I kind of want to comment about the network. The people that I refer to, I actually use their services. So if you want to know if somebody is good, just use them. You know, you're looking for a hairstylist that can do curly hair, then I've been trying several, and then I refer to the one that I use. You know, all the doctors that I refer to, I use them. So, you know, kind of like trade services or talk to them. And something that I tell my students all the time is there's enough people for all of us. So we need to get rid of the competition mentality and start building our community, because I'm only one and I cannot service the whole Vancouver area. That would be crazy. So I need more people like me, trained like me, so I can refer to them, because I'm only one. So community over competition.
Absolutely. Well said. And I'll say this, and Larry, I'm going to come to you. One really great point that you just made, Yali, was in regards to your social media presence, right? If I am a client and I am looking for a beauty professional, if I go to your page or your portfolio and I see other clients that I can relate to, you know, that's a clear signal that you can service me. So if you're listening, if you're tuning in and you're thinking, you know, how do I pivot? You know, how do I offer services that are outside of what I've been doing? Really get into managing and being intentional about displaying inclusivity or diversity on your social media feeds. It will make a huge difference.
Yeah.
And Larry, I know that's something that you're very intentional about. So feel free to speak about that and just share your take on it.
Yeah, sorry guys, I got this mask on. So for me, myself, the area that I'm in Detroit, in Midtown, it used to be like, I would say, predominantly African American, but now it's like very gentrified. So I do get a lot of different clients, and I'm right in like a college area. So I get a lot of college students. I get professors. I get lawyers, doctors. You know, everyone from all different walks of life. Speaking on posting clients so people can see that they're relatable. I do that a lot. I try not to filter my photos or like over filter them. Just so people can see like texture skin, like if I'm doing makeup or if I'm doing brows, like, you know, I try not to have like, you know, some people have like flaky skin or whatever, but, you know, I try to show those kind of things, because if you try to make it look perfect, then everyone's going to expect that when they sit in your chair, and that's not going to be the actual possibility of the things to happen. Miami, my demographic there, Miami's very Cuban and Spanish driven. With me being African American and being a guy, I get a lot of different clients. So I do get the Spanish client, I do get the African American, I do get a Haitian. So it's very diverse, because I think that if you're just going to a Spanish driven salon, then you're gonna attract those kind of people. With me, I just put everyone out there when I'm promoting like my clientele, so everyone can see that I just don't service only one guy or one girl.
Thank you for that, Larry. Kadada, did you have something to add there?
Definitely. So when I love that everybody is so intentional about, really kind of diving into the people that they service, because knowing your demographic is, I mean, I can't stress this enough. And to a lot of businesses that I've worked with, worked for, and a lot of my students, it's one of the things that is going to be one of those things that can make or break your business, right? So when it comes to knowing your demographic, there's a direct tie to knowing the people you serve and the success of your business, right? So with that, you would think that, knowing the demographic or, in the areas, and it's not a lot of people tend to, sometimes, we know what we know, right? And we just kind of, we go with the flow. But if you're really serious, if you're really intentional about building and scaling your business and being more inclusive, then you have to know that there's no one size fit all when it comes to the beauty industry, right? And we have to be prepared to service whoever walks through that door, whoever sits in our chair, like Danny mentioned earlier. It's one of those things that you have to know your community well enough, what their needs are, and being able to ensure that not only you, but your teams know how to service, the people that come to you. Being immersed in the culture, not just in your work environment, but around your work environment. I would love to encourage sometimes some of my managers, when I would go visit them, come walk the mall spaces with me, come take a walk with me, because there's a method to the madness. Like I want you to see what's outside of your four walls. I want you to see the people, what their lifestyles are like, and does your business reflect what you're seeing in the community that you serve? So those are some things that you really want to pay attention to, whether it be race, whether it be gender, whether it be age, all the things. When we start to talk about inclusivity, is your business prepared to take care of those people? And if not, I think Melissa and Yali mentioned it, as well too, that it's just a situation where if you don't, who can? Do you know someone that can? Are you reaching out and are you tapping into all of the resources that you have available to build your network and also the person next to you? So I love the point that was made about being able to, if I can't do it, I know somebody that can. And now we want to be very careful when it comes to that piece, right? Because I don't want to just send you to somebody just because I know that they deal with this, this particular demographic. Am I familiar with your work? Am I pleased with your work? Is this somebody that I feel comfortable putting my name and my brand on the line for? For them to go sit in the chair. So that type of information is crucial, because it not only affects your reputation, but the person that you're also referring in that space. So I think that's one of the main things, going into business or, just kind of studying the business in this industry is just, you got to know you got to know who you're working with and who you're working for.
Absolutely. Thank you. This conversation is just, it's always so much more than I imagined leading into it, right? I have takeaways that I hadn't thought about, that I can't wait to continue to share with my community. And I hope you guys are taking it away. Danny, thank you so much for reinforcing some of those really key sound points in the chat. So if you don't have your chat feature open, definitely take a look. There is a really great conversation happening there as well, and or just say hi, that way we know you're here. That would be awesome as well. So something that I would like to add to building a culture of inclusivity is in many cases about what naturally connects us as human beings, right? How you greet someone when they walk in, right? Are you, friendly, welcome, opening? Are you leading with what you can do versus what you can't do, right? So if it's the case where someone walks in and, they say, hey, do you do, do you do this here? Versus saying, oh, we don't, leading with, you know what? I do have someone that I can refer you to. That feels so, that connection from a customer service perspective, you're essentially saying the same thing, but you're leaving a completely different impression on that client. So just really paying attention to the language piece. I also believe in my career, I wouldn't have gotten as far as my reach wouldn't have been as wide if it um, wasn't for paying attention to how different cultures approach like the response to certain beauty services, right? So really listening and paying attention to, when I'm serving, when I'm noticing a certain pattern, right? Like, let me understand that a little bit more. Let me talk to some of my beauty pros that may understand what signals, right? What signals should I pick up from that language? What signals should I even pick up from that nonverbal? I think that those are all things that are really helpful for beauty pros when you're building a culture of inclusivity, and it really helped me with my reach throughout my career. Okay, so we are, we have roughly a little over 10 minutes left. So I want to make sure if there are any questions in the chat, feel free to utilize it. We're doing this and we're holding this space for you all, the listeners and those that are tuning in. So if you have questions, feel free. I also want to turn it back over to my panel because I see you guys smiling and nodding. As if some more of what was shared sort of hit home for you. So just talk to me a little bit more about really thinking about even your professional development as a salon pro or a suite pro. How do you approach your professional development to ensure that inclusivity continues?
Can I say something? I'm going to be real quick. I know we're short on time.
No, absolutely. Go ahead, Kyler.
For me, I think it comes down to also understanding that we are just as important in our profession as other individuals are in their professions. A lot of people look at themselves as strictly a hairdresser or an esthetician or a nail tech. They're not looking at it from the perspective that we are going to school for this. We are constantly being educated. We have paid to have our licenses and certifications just like other industries have. So I think it comes all the way back as well to knowing kind of your self-worth and knowing that you are worth, the things that you're trying to accomplish. At least for me, once I learned my self-worth, I felt like so much more like doors were opened.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. Anyone else? And while we're sharing, if you all can drop your IG handle in the chat, that way if anyone wants to go and follow you, they can do so. But go ahead, Larry, or when someone else just came off mute, please continue.
Piggybacking off of what he just said is amazing, and that is so true. One thing about being in this industry that I always let everyone know, that you have to have confidence. Like, confidence is key. If you do not have confidence, why are you servicing someone? Why are they coming to you? You have to be confident. And another thing that I do, anytime I'm in a room or with other professionals or different things like that, like, I like to shine and show my personality immediately and mix and mingle and just gain and earn that respect immediately. Because when you wait, life is too short. You just have to show everyone who you are, what you're about, what you can bring to them and what they can bring to you. And it'll all come into fruition and everything will be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone else?
I just wanted to jump in, sorry. But basically just what they were saying, just being your true self. That's the one thing I do love about social media, is with stories and posts and things like that. That's how people get to know you. So I have people that follow me from all over different areas. and they're just like, I feel like I know you from social media, but I don't. So then once they come into your space, they almost feel welcome already, or they feel like we know, like we feel like we have a connection. So that's the great thing about social media that we should use with this business, is just that connection via the internet, and then in person it just feels it feels really nice.
Yes. I know I'm on like a live. I feel so close to you guys. I'm going to share this with you. I worked in corporate beauty for about 15 years, and it took me a really long time to just shed a lot of learned behavior and just sort of show up everywhere as Shay. And those of you who've worked with me in the past, right? I'm all about like corporate culture. Like, I actually like really dig it. With that, I had to find like Shay in it. And once I did, it was like a magnet. All of the clients and partners and collaborators that were meant to work with me all of a sudden started to like come to me and be drawn to me, and I to them. So I love that you guys are talking about confidence, and you're discussing just showing up and being authentic. I believe that when you're looking to be inclusive, the best thing you can do is be yourself, right? Because when you're yourself, people feel very comfortable being their selves, right? And then you start to connect in a very real, authentic way. So I definitely want to thank you all for sharing those two. It really has made a difference for me, and I know it'll make a difference to anyone listening. Kadada, did you want to go next?
Sure. No, I'm loving the comments that I'm hearing from everybody on the panel, just because I think that authenticity, especially now, because I think you made a great point. Clients can see right through that, right? When you're not being your authentic self, or when you are, like Larry mentioned, you want to be confident, you want to, just be who you are. Because when you're not, then you're attracting a potential client or crowd that's maybe not, conducive to your business, because when we talk about, the whole idea of building an inclusive, salon culture and a community within the beauty space, we definitely want to know our worth. We definitely want to know what it is that we bring to the table, what we specialize in. So during interviews, when during doing hiring for salons, one of the first questions that I ask, I like to ask, I don't want to know anything. I'm not going to ask you those typical, well, tell me about a time. No, I want to know who you are as not just an industry professional, but tell me about you as a person, because I think those values will align with who your client is, or who you want your client to be, right? Especially for those that are newer to the beauty industry. I think it's important for them to, for your clients to know who you are up front. And that definitely starts to work in building that trust, building that relationship with the client. That's so very important, because let's be honest, we're dealing with the most vain side of people when it comes to how they show up, right? How they deal. Going to be important that not only having that confidence in ourselves, but that our clients have that same confidence in us, in our abilities to take care of them, to service them, to just really make them feel special. I don't know about you all, but some of my best, more exciting days, like, I don't care how tired I am. Listen, if I have a hair appointment, if I have a nail appointment, if I am jumping straight up out the bed, smile on my face, ready to go, grab my coffee, because I am excited to get my entire life, get my hair together, get my nails done. Those are all things that are very personal to people. And we're in a place now where, self-care is super duper important to everyone. So being inclusive, creating those environments and those spaces where people can come and just, I'm good. I'm in Larry's chair, or, Yali's taking care of me today, or Kyler is, I know he's going to come with something creative today for me, or Melissa, she's ready to, those are all the things that you really want to, you want to have that trust, so it really just lends more to being able to create and making beauty more accessible to everybody.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My face is hurting. Like, if you guys are looking at me in the lower screen, I'm literally smiling ear to ear the entire time, because these are conversations that need to be had as the beauty industry sort of expands into, I feel like, a lot of us are in our own silos more than we used to be. It's so nice to come together and talk about the work that we do and how we can continue to show up and service others. So these spaces are absolutely needed. Panel, you have been amazing. I couldn't have scripted this better myself with everything that you've been able to share. I trust that our
Shay, can I
viewers
say
and
something?
those listening, absolutely. I was going to open it up for, any additional comments. So you started off, kick us off.
I just wanted to share something with you. When I started with this industry, a lot of people just made me feel very small because I was just a nail tech. And for the longest time, I made myself small to accommodate others. And then one day I was like, no, I am a nail technician who happens to be a pedicurist, and I am Yali, and I am Puerto Rican, and my personality is big, and I am not going to apologize. So you guys need to do the same. Love yourself and do that. And just don't apologize. And you know what? I know that some clients, they actually tell me, you're too much. That's okay. I can refer you to somebody else.
Yes, Yali. And let me tell you something, guys. The beauty industry is on its way to being a $700 billion industry. Listen to me, $700 billion industry. So as you heard in my introduction, I'm going into the beauty tech space, and sometimes, people sort of they don't realize the impact that beauty has on just commerce, consumer behaviors, just overall output, human output. And when I say that number, sometimes I have to say that number to myself before I go into a meeting or before I sit down and start my day, so that I truly take in the impact I have each and every day. So thank you, Yali, for sharing that. Any additional comments before we start to wrap up and close it out? Way too soon, but we have to.
I just wanted to tell everyone that one key that this thing keeps zooming in. Sorry, it's scaring me. I just wanted to tell everyone that it is so free to share a word of mouth, or just what I've learned is that, for example, if I'm following you or if you're following me, like, I get so many people that'll be like, oh my God, I went to LA and you were following a girl, and just because you were following her, I just knew that I could trust her and she did an amazing job. Or vice versa, they'll be like, oh my God, my lash tech, I moved from LA and I'm in Detroit now, and I came to you because she follows you. So literally, that's like kind of like my social media word of mouth. Like, some people are scared to follow people because they're like, I don't want to show up on their page, or I don't want whatever goes in people's head. But me personally, like, I make sure that I follow people because I know that that's like a social media word of mouth. When they see your name that says the followers and they follow you, the majority of the time they're going to be intrigued by who this person is. So follow people, follow them back. I don't care if you have more followers. I don't care if you're following more people than they're following you. Just follow them back.
It's true. It's like social currency. It's so critical right now. I can't tell you how many times I'll hear that. Like, oh, I saw that, Manbrow was following you. I want to set up a discovery call. I'm like, oh, okay, like that. So it is definitely social currency. So thank you, Larry, for bringing that point to the forefront. Anyone else? Thank you all for your participation in the chat. Like, so much support. Panel, I hope you know that it's great feedback going on in the chat right now. So thank you all.
Real quick before it ends, I just wanted to add that we're in an industry where we should all be able to be ourselves. So when we are our true authentic selves, then typically the clients that are like us or like-minded are going to be the ones that we surround ourselves with. Because yes, we love what we do, but at the end of the day, sometimes it can still be work. So if you're enjoying your time with who you're with and they're enjoying their time with yourself, the time flies by. You can really get into loving why you're doing what you're doing and not thinking about, oh my God, my feet hurt and I haven't eaten in the past 12 days. You know what I mean? That's it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. All right. If I can get the screen up with the panelists so that you guys have one last look. The handles are there. Thank you, Kadada. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Yali. Thank you, Kyler. Thank you, Danny. I know you're in the background working all of the backstage right now, and on the entire GlossGenius family. I have to tell you all, I can't tell you of another system, or I hate to even call GlossGenius a booking system, because that's just one piece of what they do. The community that they bring to their beauty pros is absolutely unmatched. There's nothing like it in the industry, and I am grateful to be associated with such a brand that values beauty pros the way that you do, Gigi. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you, panelists. And until next time.
Bye. Adios.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.